What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today we're doing part three or four of best albums of the last. It's three, whatever. We'll keep going. Of the last 5 years. So Dylan and I have each picked out 5 records that we really like from 2018 to current. And I'm going to talk about this one first. I've already got it pulled up here. So this is The Last Gang. The album is called Noise, Noise, Noise. Came out in 2021 on Fat Wreck. And I think this sounds like, for fans of Rancid, obviously, and The Clash, Distillers, and somehow this missed my best of 2021 list. I don't know how. It must have been a grower. But that's okay, because now I still listen to it pretty regularly. My favorite songs are Noise, Noise, Noise and Paris Green. And I think Intelligence is a Plague, another really good one. And I was lucky enough, Dylan, this never happens to me. I missed the pre-order, and someone on Discogs was actually selling the fat version cheaper than it. I think it was like $15, so it was like no brainer. So I picked it up. And normally there's only 10 songs here, which normally I don't love, but each song is pretty different. So you could tell they went into this thinking no filler, and I think they achieved it. So my first album, Last Gang, Noise, Noise, Noise. Dylan, any thoughts on this one?
I have not listened to it. This is one of the newer Fat bands. I've heard a few songs, seen the music videos and stuff. But it definitely has that like Distillers feel for sure. But I gotta give The Last Gang a second chance, I think.
Yeah, this one and the last one is pretty good too. But yeah, this is a really solid album. If you guys have not checked it out, I'm gonna play a clip of, I think, Paris Green. But if there's yeah, I'll do Paris Green. So here's a clip. Let us know what you think.
All right, my first album is going to be a band that I talk about ad nauseum, if you're familiar with the channel. It's Belvedere. It's very reflective and shiny. Their most recent album, Hindsight, is the Sixth Sense. And I got it here on this real nice like purple and blue splatter color vinyl. Really cool. Yeah, I always compare skate punk bands to Belvedere. They're the gold standard. I wouldn't say this is their best album. I even like the Revenge of the Fifth more, but that's more than 5 years old, so I couldn't go with that one. But yeah, it's still a really solid album. It reminds me more of This Is a Standoff than traditional Belvedere. But super solid album.
Yeah, my playlist just unsynced, so I know I have some of the songs pinned on here, and this was definitely on my best of 2021. Do you know what song you want to play, Dylan?
What song do we want to play? Let's do Good Grief Retreat.
Yeah, I think that's the best one on here. All right, so my next band I'm going to pick, wow, actually only 45 listeners. I'm pretty surprised to see that. But this is Bashful from Richmond, Virginia. Album is called Driving. And this band reminds me a lot of Broadway Calls, one of my favorite pop punk bands, and maybe even a little bit of Decent Criminal, so a newer pop punk band. And this is 90s alternative tinged pop punk. And what I think one of the things I like most about this is that I find the lyrics pretty relatable, especially like a song like Fun that kind of deals with being introverted. And yeah, there's a lot of standouts on here. Lightheaded, On My Way Out, just a really good summer pop punk album. And I hope, now that I'm seeing the listeners, I hope that I'm turning people onto this album and this band, because I'm not sure they're still around. I sent them a message when I had this picked out for the for these videos about buying the album, and I didn't get a response, and that was a couple months ago now. So, Dylan, have you heard of this band? Are you one of the Elite 45?
I have not. This is a super underground pick, so I'll have to give them a chance.
I thought they were pretty. I've seen them on some decent sized shows, so I figured they were bigger. But there you go. So this could have been an off the radar episode, but it's here in best of the last 5 years. So that tells you how good it is. But Dylan, what do you got up next for us?
Up next, we got, surprise, surprise, another skate punk band, Cigar, with their most recent album, their comeback album, The Visitor. Another Fat Records release. Kind of a surprising one that they ended up on Fat, honestly. This was supposed to be released by our friends at People of Punk Rock Records. But Fat swooped in at the last second and released it on there. So, anyone who is like a hardcore skate punk fan knows the album Speed is Relative. This album came like 20-something years after that one, and the band had been inactive for quite some time leading up to this. But I think it's a stellar comeback effort, and definitely goes toe-to-toe with Speed is Relative as far as the song quality. Favorite song? Probably, I think These Chances was the lead single. No, it was whatever the one that they had the music video for, where they're like in the van and stuff.
I think it's the second, Legacy of the Seven Plies. I'm pretty sure that was the single.
That's the one that's like the wizard and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, there's another, the one that's like, we used to look ahead to.
It's probably the third song then, We Used to.
Yeah, We Used to, that's it. That's my favorite song on the record.
Yeah, this was on, I think it was on my best of 2022. If it wasn't, it should be. I mean, it's Cigar. We waited 20 years for this, maybe more. So nothing bad to say about this. Probably could be on my list too. Awesome album. I bet that really stings people of punk rock, man. That's a big one to lose out on, but I'm sure they understood.
They still got to do some like merch and like skateboards and stuff for it, so.
Yeah.
We used to look ahead to times that we're now looking back on all the moments started on the map.
All right. So my next pick, Dylan, I'm kind of going where you went with a classic skate punk band. I'm going with Satanic Surfers. This one just barely made it. This is 2018. Back from Hell. And Satanic Surfers have been around for a long time, maybe like 30 years. But to me, this is their best album. I'm not sure if that's a hot take or not. I'm not really dialed in on the Satanic Surfers community. But this is, I think, their fastest, most aggressive sounding, the best leads. Like, there's some good songs sprinkled in the catalog, like You and I Are One and Soothing. But just overall, as like a skate punk album, The Usurper, Catch My Breath, Going Nowhere Fast, like, and then Back to Hell, the title track, it's just awesome. The first time I heard this, I was like, God damn, I went back and listened to all the Satanic Surfers stuff. I had ordered this from like Canada. Somebody had it in Canada and it never came. I filed a USPS case and it just went by the wayside. It got stuck in Massachusetts, but it is what it is. I could pretend I owned it. But Dylan, I know you've heard of Satanic Surfers. Have you heard this album, and what are your thoughts on the band in general?
Well, you said it was a hot take that this is your favorite Satanic Surfers album. I'm going to one-up you with an even hotter take. I like Atlas Losing Grip more than I do Satanic Surfers. That, for those who don't know, that was Rodrigo from Satanic Surfers' side project. The band was started actually before he joined. They had an album they put out before he joined. But their two best albums were when he was in the band. So those are a lot more like melodic punk. This is like harder hitting than Atlas Losing Grip. So it's two different things, but I like that band more, honestly. I still like Satanic Surfers. I don't think this is my favorite album of theirs. My favorite would probably be like, I think it's an EP though. Keep off the rain. Yeah, keep off. Taste the Poison's also good. But yeah, I don't know if this is my favorite, but it's a pretty good album regardless.
So you wasted another year. Oh, how quickly time has passed while you were going nowhere fast.
All right, what do you got up next?
All right, number 3. We're bucking the skate punk trend, and we're going to pop punk with Going Places with their newest album, Save the World. Not to be confused with the Queers album released the same year, which is not nearly of the same standard of quality as this. Yeah, these guys have been around a long time. I think this is their best album they've released. There's a ton of good songs on here. Favorites would be I Don't Know and Another Blackout Night. If you like Mr. T Experience, Going Places is similar, like that quirky, like almost like nerdy pop punk. But yeah, this is the best album to start with, in my opinion, of theirs.
Yeah, that Mr. T that's a great comparison. I think these guys are from Long Island too, and I remember when this was coming out, they were pretty cool. But I'll have to give it another listen. I forgot about this. I know I listened when it came out, but I'm definitely gonna revisit.
I don't know how I'm gonna make it. Everything is getting out of control. It keeps getting harder. Time is.
So moving on to my 4th pick, it's going to be this band Brookhurst and the album Heartstrings from 2019. I believe this was a crowd-funded album, and I must have not been aware when it was being funded, and you can really no longer find this on any physical media, so I don't have it. But the band features Stephen Neufeld on guitar and vocals, previously from, and maybe still from, Craig's brother, and Hey Mike, and he does solo stuff now that's also very good. But this album here, this to me, this is like a lightning in a bottle album. The song Abandoned D, I think bands that are around 20, 30 years don't write songs as good as that. It's one of my favorite pop punk songs, skate punk songs of the last decade plus. And then you've got number 2, Light Up the Sun, another only 10-song album, but it's really, really good. Ben Normal, another really good song. This is like my standard pick where it's skate punk influenced pop punk. That's my favorite style. And when I posted this back in 2020, this is like one of the posts that got the most traction. So I'm doing it again because more people need to check this out. Dylan, have you heard this album at all?
I have not. You're 3 for 3 on bands and albums I have not listened to. So coming with the heat.
Yeah, this I had on my list for Off the Radar. And then when we decided to do this today, I just bumped it up. I was like, it's that good. I still listen to it. So that's my number 4 pick. The song I'm going to play is definitely Abandoned D because it's the best song on here. So let me know what you guys think.
All right, we're back to skate punk. Veteran skate punk band Pulley. Their new album, The Golden Life. I knew that. On this color. Yeah, great album. There's a lot of slower songs on here. The last few Pulley albums, there's been some slower stuff going on, but the fast stuff is really good. Repeat Offender, really good opening track. So we'll go with Repeat Offender as our song we're gonna play. But yeah, Pulley, really consistent band. I don't think they've ever put out a bad record.
Yeah, we're in there as of right now, dominating the poll for September's tier list. So,
Yeah.
Dylan, do you have any idea where this would land in your Pulley tier list. Any spoilers for us?
How many they don't have that many albums, do
I think they have
like
7.
7?
Yeah.
Probably like A minus.
A minus. It's tough.
Yeah, something like that.
It's tough. I mean, I thought it was good throughout, but it may have been lacking some standouts. I like No Change in the Weather a little better. But yeah, it's a really good record. It's Pulley. I mean, it's going to be one of the best. When Pulley puts out an album, it's so rare that it's going to be up there. I agree with Repeat Offender. It's another really good song.
I feel trapped in this place.
I'll move on now to my last pick. You guys probably saw it. I had it pulled up in the beginning. Going back to Fat Wreck, we've got the bookend here. I'm going to pick 3, and this one I have on CD. It's very rare that I buy an album on, like a new album on CD, but I picked this up at Dark Side Records in Poughkeepsie. Based on like my limited knowledge here, this seems to not be as well received as the other Mass Intruder albums, but to me, I don't know if it's because it's new, but I listen to this one the most. It's not really even that new. It's 4 years old, but I think the first 7 songs, I don't think there's a miss. Like, it falls off a bit on the back half, which is fine. And just in case, I don't think this is going to apply to many people, but just in case you're watching this channel and you do not know Mass Intruder, it's just straight pop punk. It kind of has like some 50s and 60s stuff thrown in, but yeah, it's just standard pop punk, but they do a really great job with the melodies. Real simple songs that you could sing along after hearing it once, and this is no exception. This is my favorite Mass Intruder album. I think Dylan's gonna have a problem with that, and I know, Dylan, you're a fan of these guys. You're one of the few owners of a Mass Intruder signed vinyl, which you shared with us before. What are your thoughts on 3 or 3 Turbo?
Yeah, this is I'm an OG Masked Intruder fan. I got their first 7-inch First Offender, the first pressing on green vinyl, limited to 50 copies. And the debut album. This is my least favorite Masked Intruder album, if I'm being completely honest. I think that they like, obviously their whole thing is the gimmick and stuff, and it kind of wore thin as time went on, which is why I feel like they've taken such a long hiatus. Though they're supposedly working on new music, from what I hear. But yeah, this is my least favorite. I feel like they were running out of ideas, and it's kind of getting stale at this point.
It's funny you're an OG too, because Lewis was living in Wisconsin. I think I shared this last time, but he was living in Madison, which is where they're from, and one of them works at the bar that he used to go to. So he's the one who turned me on to them when that first album came out. So that's funny that you guys are both in pretty early. But Dylan, your last record here, what's it going to be?
It's going to be a familiar face, Mr. Joey Cape, with his, I think he released another solo album since this one came out, but I like this one the most. I think this is his best solo album. Let Me Know When You Give Up. Very wordy title. Yeah, he's got a backing band and stuff on a lot of the songs, and I think it's just a super well put together album. I would say kind of like Lagwagon, but just like a chill version. Like you can just sit back and relax to this. My favorite song is by far the opening song. It takes a while to get started, but for a few minutes it just builds and builds, and then the full band comes in, and it works really well. I don't know if Joey did the composition on this album, but I feel like it's just a really well produced album, and the songwriting is great.
I've never heard this. So would you say this is better than Railer?
Yeah, I would say this is better than the most recent Lagwagon record.
Yeah, I can never get into Joey's solo stuff. So, but you're giving it high praise. If it sounds like a Lagwagon album, I'll definitely check it out. 11 songs in 40 minutes.
It's got a similar feel, like, but it's not like sonically similar to it. I don't know.
It's about survival, forgetting your wobbles. Let me know when you give up.
All right. Well, that will wrap us up here. This was favorite songs of favorite albums of the last 5 years. One of these times I'm going to get it right. We're probably going to do 1 or 2 more. I think we said this was episode 3. So yeah, if there's anything egregious that we have missed so far, leave it down below. If we agree, we'll include it in the next episode possibly. And just in case you missed it, we do now have a Discord channel where we're kind of taking ideas for episodes and sharing new music and stuff. So if that sounds cool to you, I'll leave a link to that down below. And Dylan, anything cool or new over there at Dying Scene we can look forward to?
Not much. I don't have much free time right now to do stuff on there, but I want to give a shout out to some of our early Discord adopters. We got a Xander and Spab, two guys holding it down in the Discord. So they need more people to talk about music with. So if you want to do that and come up with some ideas for us to make videos about and stuff, then come check out the Discord server. Yeah, they did come up with the idea for the live album tier list, which I'm totally gonna do. Yeah.
I'm totally gonna do that. So, if you guys put it your most favorite or least favorite live album, if you're still here, because we got to figure out that list. So, favorite, least favorite live album, put it down below, because we're gonna do that probably in September or late August. So. Yeah, go check it out. And there's a poll open, like I mentioned, for September's tier list. Pulley is running away with it. If you don't like Pulley, make sure and cast your vote. And that'll do it. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all next time.